Hi everyone, I'm Joe Fry and this is my channel Jojo Fry Rocks, and today's video is going to be about why we buy guitars that we know are not right for us. Before I get into it, just want to give a shout out to Andy over at Guitar Stuff Studio. Andy did a little bit of editing for me for one of my recent videos. He's really great at that stuff. So if anyone ever needs a bit of a hand with that, I'm sure he won't mind you getting in touch with him. These are available on his shop merch section of his channel. Go and have a look. It's actually a really nice, good quality t-shirt. It's a very kind of well-fitting t-shirt, which they're not usually. Most of the stuff I buy is generally too big. So this actually fits me really well, so I thought I'd wear it on my channel today. So that's the shout out to Andy. Thanks a lot, mate, again. But yeah, I was watching Phil McKnight's channel, Know Your Gear, as I very often do. And he made a video recently, a few days ago, which really, I think, pulls together some of the things that I've been talking about in some of my videos, I don't know, over the course of this year. But I've made a few different videos now about kind of the basics, different aspects of guitars, right? Things like scale length, which I've just done, things like fretboard radius, the different ways of setting up a guitar, the different aspects of guitars that you have to think about in terms of maintenance and cleaning and all these things. There are a lot of factors that can make a guitar right for you or not. And one of the things that I haven't really talked about is the look of a guitar. And this is something that I think Phil puts really well in his video. I think he hits the nail on the head here. So this is the bit that I think it really comes down to, is why we keep buying guitars that are wrong for us.
Every brand that I loved the way it looked sounded like ass. To this day, I collect guitars that are aesthetically pleasing but sound horrible, and I don't like them. I'm not going to shame the brands. You probably could figure it out because I keep buying them. I buy them. They're like wall art. I get them and I go, this thing sounds like cardboard. Like, it just doesn't have anything going for it. And I told you, everything, like every guitar, when I was starting out guitar, I got the fake looking Strat guitar. Mine was a JB player. And I thought it looked horrible. It looked like, I thought the Strat was the ugliest thing ever. It looked like something that your grandpa played. And I was trying to be cool. By the way, not for girls. I didn't even think about that. I was just thinking, I just wanted to be cool. Who doesn't want to be cool? I was like, maybe this will make me cool. No, I'm not sure. I just wanted to play guitar. And I wanted to feel cool playing guitar. And that guitar just did not make me feel cool. And all the guitars that I thought looked cool, I would get them. And I didn't like them. I didn't like the bridge. It was too weird. Or I didn't like the neck. It was too thin. And it didn't sound the way I wanted. And I would just force myself for years. I would go down this road, forcing myself to play things that looked cool.
When I saw that video, the first thing that jumped into my mind was my Ibanez RG550. This beautiful thing. I mean, it really is. Look at this. It really is a stunner. It's gorgeous. There's no two ways about it. This is a stunning guitar. It looks fabulous. It looks the business. And to be honest, it is a really super high quality guitar. Okay, it's a really well made guitar. It stood the test of time easily. This is still going and it was made in 1989. It's nearly as old as me. In fact, 8 years younger than me. So I'll let you decide which one of us is holding up better. Let me know in the comments. But yeah, it's a thing of beauty and wonder. And obviously, I fell in love with it at first sight when I was 18. And that is why I own it. Literally, that's the reason I own it. It was my 18th birthday. My parents asked me what I wanted for my birthday. It's a special birthday. And this was what I wanted. I do explain a bit more about it in my video that I made quite early on when I started the channel. I made a video about each of my guitars, so I made a video all about this guitar and why I got it. I've had it ever since then, so that was in 1999. So when I bought it, it was 10 years old. It was a used guitar. It was already in this condition, so it already had this fretboard wear, and I literally haven't put on any more wear in all that time since 1999. And the reason for that is because I just don't play it very much. I really don't play it very much. And the reason I don't play it very much is because it's very much the wrong guitar for me. As much as I love it, I do have to admit that it really is not in any way the right guitar for me. It's not going anywhere. At this point, I'm never ever parting with this guitar. So it's part of my collection, for better or worse, for life. And that's just the way it is. I'm never parting with this thing. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it's one of my favourite guitars to play. I do play it, and part of the reason why I started this channel was because I wanted to try to play my guitars more and get more use out of them. And indeed, when I first started the channel, I think the very first uploads that I did, the shorts that I did, were on this guitar specifically, because I knew that this is the guitar really that I play least in my collection. So I wanted to start there. So I really tried to make myself play some riffs, play some songs, try to think of ways of using this guitar on this channel. And that was a big focus for me quite early on. Just purely to make myself feel a bit better about owning this guitar. But in the sort of 26 years that I've had it, is that right? It's 2025. Wow, that's a long time, isn't it? Wow. I think I've played this more over the last 2 years than I have in that entire interim period, which really, really says something, I think. And so the videos that I've been making about the different aspects of guitars have sort of enabled me to analyse a little bit why it is that this guitar is kind of wrong for me. And I didn't really understand very much about any of these things when I was younger. I don't know why, because I'd made my own guitar when I was at school, so I was very aware of all the differences between different types of guitar. I'd put a lot of thought, obviously, into the design of my own guitar, and I knew all about different scale lengths. I knew all about the shape sort of ergonomically and different types of pickups, different types of bridges, and I'd made conscious choices about those on the guitar that I made myself. So you would think that even as an 18-year-old, I would have approached buying a new guitar with a level of knowledge that actually most people that age, or most kind of players who've been, let's say, playing the guitar since their early teens probably wouldn't have. So you would have thought that that would have given me a bit more of an advantage, a bit more of an insight, and that I might have steered myself towards a different guitar that was better for my purposes and better suited to me and my playing style. Nope. I saw this. I wanted this. And in every way and on every level, it was not right for me. So, why is that? First off, it's a 25.5-inch scale length guitar, right? So, similar to the Squier Strat that I had as my first electric guitar, but that does make it a little bit more difficult to play. The reason why these Super Strat style guitars have that longer scale length is because that allows decent spacing at this end of the fretboard. So you can actually get up there and play those widdly shreddy riffs. You can do all your tapping and your EVH style stuff, your Steve Vai stuff up here past the 12th fret. Now, in my younger days, I think perhaps I thought or aspired to be a much better player, or I thought maybe at least one day I would be a much better player. And that never happened. That never actually happened. I never put in enough practice or was interested enough in that kind of music and that kind of playing to actually achieve that. So that's why I never really did very much with this guitar. I got much more into sort of classic rock. I got more into singer-songwriter stuff, and the guitar that I've come back to again and again throughout my life, and the one that I've used the most, is my acoustic guitar. So not the kind of thing that easily translates on a guitar like this, really. The neck profile as well, it's very thin. You all know what an Ibanez Wizard neck looks like. This is one of those. It's a very slim D-shaped neck. The fretboard is almost flat. It's something like 17 inches. It's almost flat. Everything about the design and setup of this guitar, including the locking nut, including the Floyd Rose, the trem, everything about this guitar is to allow you to play fast solos, to allow the guitar to stay in tune while you hammer it on the trem here to get those kind of squealing notes. It really is a guitar for 80s style rock, EVH, Steve Vai type stuff, or metal, obviously, which it's also fantastic for. You have a hell of a lot of firepower in these pickups here. You've got humbucker, single coil, humbucker, and combinations thereof. And it just goes to show how little I really played this guitar, because it was only last year that I discovered that the pickups had actually been switched around by the previous owner. So whoever owned this for the 10 years before I owned it had actually changed the neck and the bridge pickups. So it didn't sound the way that you would imagine it to sound. That might be partially what had put me off of playing it a little bit, I guess, because I'd never got the tones that I was expecting to get from it. And so having those changed back again has actually made me feel a little bit differently about the guitar in general. And I have been enjoying playing it since Paul Richards helped me to set it up properly and change the strings and everything.
Oh, I've got the strap set on Joe's height.
It's a little bit small.
I don't know, one of the Beatles.
Do you want me to like loosen it a bit? It's a bit.
It's a mariachi band. Hola, buenos días. Hay un banco por aquí. Why would you ever want to do that?
So I've been getting better with it. I've been playing a little bit more, but that's another reason, again, why this is an unsuitable guitar for me, is because I just find it so hard to get on with this Floyd Rose. And if you watched my video that I did at Milehouse Studios, you will see that Paul also struggled with this when we were trying to restring this and get it set up properly so it's got a nice action and a nice feel. It really was a headache. And I've only done it maybe once before that myself. It took me the best part of a week, and I'm not even joking about that. And obviously there are tips and tricks and things that you can do to make it easier. And once you've got the right setup and you've got the string gauge that you want and you're not going to change that string gauge, then if you take the strings off and change them one at a time, it does make it quite a bit easier. So I have been learning about it and things have improved a little bit and I have been getting more use out of it and playing it more. But at that time, when I was 18 and I didn't have all the knowledge about how difficult, for example, it was going to be to live with a Floyd Rose and a locking nut, and, you know, not having that perspective and just buying a guitar solely based on how it looks, really, is probably not the best decision that you're ever going to make. And I just wonder how many of us have got guitars like this. I mean, not an Ibanez RG550, but it could be anything, right? Like, it could be that you love the look of a Les Paul, so you spent loads of money on a Gibson Les Paul. It could be that you've even identified one from a particular year or a particular burst that you think looks fabulous. And they do. They absolutely do. Or it could be a PRS, private stock, or something that you think looks just gorgeous and that you just really are in love with. And then you buy it, and then you find that, oh, this Les Paul is actually super heavy. And I really feel uncomfortable when I'm playing it. It gives me neck ache, it gives me backache. I certainly don't want to gig with it. So we'll just keep it in the rack, or we'll just keep it up on the wall, or even worse, we'll keep it in the case. And then what's the point? What is the point, really, of that? Like, what are you getting from that? Nothing. And I'm sure we all have those guitars. And then you feel so bad about it that you can't even bring yourself to kind of sell it and move on. And I think that's a little bit of the reason why I'm never going to sell or get rid of this guitar. It also does have sentimental value to me because it was a birthday present for my 18th birthday, and it's a keepsake. You know, it's something that I'm gonna have forever. So this one and my Rickenbacker, they were my 18th and 21st birthday presents respectively. So those are going to be permanent guitars in my collection, no matter what. But I think for some of us, we might even have more than one or even more than two guitars that are not right for us, that we don't enjoy, that we don't play, but we like them because we like the look of them, and we like perhaps the image that they represent. So this is another aspect of it. It did play a little bit into why I got this guitar. As I said, I imagined, or I had the aspiration to be a much, much better player. And I thought that one day that would happen and I would be, and then it never did. This is something that it isn't just guitars. You know, we do this, I think, in our lives in a number of different ways. So maybe we buy clothes that don't fit, but we think that one day we will lose weight, get into shape, and we'll get into those jeans. I know I've done that before. And you hang on to these things and then it never transpires, it never happens. And all the time you've spent money on that item, it's taking up space in your house, and it's not serving you. It's not bringing you anything. It's not bringing anything to your life. Back to guitars though. This is something that Andy from Guitar Stuff Studio says all the time in the context of why people mod and change their guitars. A lot of us will buy a guitar because we like the look of it, plug it in, play it, and it doesn't sound good. And this is another point that Phil made in his video, that he's bought guitars for their looks, and then, to quote Phil, they sound like ass. So you end up swapping out pickups, swapping out electronics, trying to make them sound good and make them sound the way you want them to sound, which you can do. You can do that. But Andy's point is, why don't you just buy a guitar that you do like and that you don't have to change? And maybe that is a point. Maybe that's something to think about. Although I know that a lot of us get a lot of enjoyment and pleasure out of just doing that work anyway. Actually, for some people, that's half the fun of getting a guitar. So I think you can look at that in different ways. But if you've bought a guitar and it's just because of how it looks, it doesn't feel good to play, it doesn't sound good, and ultimately you end up leaving it, not playing it, or even putting it away and storing it, then should you maybe sell it and move on? Anyway, those are my thoughts and reactions to Phil's video. Let me know in the comments, what do you think? Do you think that when you go into a guitar shop, or if you're browsing online and you fall in love with how a guitar looks and you buy it, is that okay? Have you done that? Are you okay with that? Or if not, how do you think we can avoid this trap? What can we do? How can we help ourselves here? Okay, cheers everyone. See you next time.